Hello, Matujima, and you're watching Hornbill TV's newsroom. Transportation is a vital necessity in modern life, and as the population continues to grow, more people are turning to public transport for their daily commutes. While public transport is meant to ease travel for the public, unregulated fares in the state have become a significant problem. Who is responsible for regulating this? To know more about it and to talk about this, we'll be joined by our associate editor, El Muli from the newsroom. So hi El, thank you so much for joining me today.
How to?
Right, so El, let me begin with this question. Have you noticed a significant difference in fares over the past few years when it comes to public transport? Maybe be it buses or autos when it comes to Dimapur, and also sumos and like all of that when it comes to public transport. Is there a hike in that? I mean, is there any differences?
Oh, hike in fares, you mean? Did you say hike in fares, Atu?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a very natural conclusion in this regard. Way back in 2007, we were told that there were about 2,000 to 5,000 auto rickshaws in Dimapur. And then I remember going to the transport office in Dimapur during that time to get data, because even during that time there was a lot of controversy about the fares which the owners were charging, and we continue to have problems with auto rickshaw fares and bus fares. So I think they have always been consistent one way or the other, and the possibility of any of the drivers or the conductors misusing it is, or playing something under the table, is quite low compared to auto rickshaws. All this while, all these many years, even from the time of the Deputy Commissioner Hekali Zimomi. Do you remember Hekali Zimomi? She was the Deputy Commissioner of Dimapur during those times. And in 2003 and 2004, I still remember the DNSU and we got together to list out a chart for all the auto rickshaws in Dimapur, a chart of the fares that they are supposed to charge. Because during those times, there was no one to regulate the Matu. Way back there, even before I joined the media, I was with a DNSU. I was their advisor. So people had started complaining about these high fares which were illegal. And we also got a copy of the administration's fares for the auto rickshaws in Dimapur, and it did not tally. And then people started complaining, there were protests, and from the student side we thought this is something we can contribute, so let us speak in this regard. Let's go to the media and then let's approach the administration. It was during the time of DNSU President Imli Lamter, I think, wherever he is. I'm told he has become a pastor or a church leader somewhere, but anyway. So in 2024, we are facing this problem. We still have this problem. I think it was about 3 years ago that I asked the authorities in Dimapur how many auto rickshaws we have now, and they said if you count the registered ones, it will only be about maybe somewhere in the region of 5,000 to 7,000 for Fort Mile area, not Dimapur.
Only for Fort Mile.
But if you don't count the unregistered ones, it could be much higher. So this is the system that we have. And like I said, I've traveled in the buses also, and it has always been consistent within the 20 rupees to 40 rupees area. But if you look at the charges for auto rickshaws, it varies from locality to locality, area to area, town to town. None of them will be charging the same fare, and they themselves will argue with a lot of moot points. Rasta biya ase, pani giri ase, ajido san bishi mari ase, fare do bishi hobo, traffic bi ase. What do you expect if you don't find traffic in the town? And it's not like because it's raining you are supposed to pay. If the road is bad, it's not your fault. So nobody is there to check them. The deputy commissioner is not there. The transport authorities are not there. It's their responsibility. And you have all these unions along the junctions collecting taxes in the name of road maintenance. I did not know that civil society organizations maintain roads and build roads for us, but anyway. So nobody's checking them. That is why if you go to the 4th Mile junction here and hire an auto for about a kilometer, they're going to charge you about 300.
Right.
But if you go down to the town areas and you hire an auto for about a kilometer, they're going to probably charge you about 150. But then you meet a lot of shady ones also, people who want to rob you, and they will say, no, this is 500, you know, this is 600. It's not uncommon, especially those autos towards the side to move and 4th Mile areas. In the town, I think they know that they're right at the center of the municipality, so they wouldn't really play with the fares, but it's all in the corners, the outskirts, especially from Purana Bazaar upwards. So nobody's there to check them. The fares are extremely high, they are illegal, and I think it's time we start implementing and introducing what they do in the metros, meter systems.
Right. So when we talk about meter system, I was just going to start with that. When it comes to especially autos, we have other public transport here in Dimapur. Let's focusing just for now, just focusing on Dimapur. We have taxi, two-wheeler taxis, but it was just introduced some few years ago. It hasn't been that long. So when it comes to auto, was there any discussion going on about introducing meter system, and why has it not been implemented now? Like, what was the discussion all about? Did they not agree with it, the auto union, or what was it? Because in other big cities as well, and now that Dimapur is becoming huge now, it can be considered as city-like somewhat. So why has it not been implemented so far?
So it was during the time way back 2014 or 15, I remember. The district administration wanted to introduce meter systems for the auto rickshaws, and the autos started protesting. They started agitating, they stopped services, and they said, no, we cannot have meter systems. They were giving these and that reasons. They were giving their arguments. The prices are, the fuel prices are high. We cannot maintain our families. So the district administration said, if we are not going to implement the metering system, then we're going to bring in buses. And they brought in buses, but after that, I don't know what happened. And logically, Atu, a meter system should be in place, because first thing, it streamlines the fare system across the district. It makes the fares uniform. Second, it shows for accountability, because you know that you are paying the rates that the administration has fixed, and that is correct, whether you like it or not. And third, the meter system ensures that you won't have people who are not members of the transport community coming in and trying to earn money. And most importantly, fourth, the meter system ensures that citizens who are supposed to be using public transport, that is the people who do not have private transport, are paying what they can. So this is, I think, what the administration should seriously start considering, because without the meter system, we are not only stealing from the citizens, we are also ensuring that these jumps in the economic system, within the transport system, the illegal fares, the high fares, unregulated fares are going to be translated in other ways. For example, prices of essential commodities. I think the meter system should be introduced by the district administration. And we were in Delhi. We traveled for about 3 kilometers, I think, And then there was a meter system. I was with my nephew. We were in the we were in the south, and I think we went from Beaufort Junction all the way to India Habitat Center, which is almost 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers. We paid 45 rupees, Atu.
Right.
Here, if you take an auto from Chumugitima to Dimapur, you'll have to take a loan from the SBI, or you have to ask your mother for her pension to pay the auto fare. So we need a meter system so that we weed out all these dishonest auto rickshaws out, and we need to start thinking about the common people. Our salaries have not increased. The salary median in Nagaland has not increased during the past 10 years. It is still within the 5,000 to 7,000 a month salary medium. But over the past 10 years, we have gone from 50 rupees for hire way back in 2010 to almost 400 for half a kilometer. So I think the government should, the district administration and the municipality administration should set up a panel system, an authority that will regulate and keep these auto rickshaws in check, and not only them, the private buses also, the taxis also, and start a metering system. And if they refuse, I think there are a lot of people who will want to start their own transport business. So if they refuse, bring them in.
Right. Also, when we talk about hikes in fares, when it comes to taxi, for example, now when we had the mudslide here in Chumu to Kohima stretch, the taxi fares increase because they had to take the longer route. And also, for example, now that the foot overbridge is being constructed, now auto fares, I've got to learn that. I don't know how far it's true, but I've got to learn from airport to, if you have to go to town, they charge extra amount because of you have to take the longer route. Now who regulates all this, and who is supposed to regulate that? Now that considering the fact that we have auto unions, taxi unions, and I don't know about from one district to another district, sumo unions, I don't know if it exists, correct me if I'm wrong, but who is supposed to actually look after this?
The municipal authorities, of course, and the transport authorities of the district, especially the regional transport authority, I believe. But because we don't have the government looking into these matters, keeping a check on people who might be misusing the system, it is now the auto unions who decide what you should pay and what you should not. And that is a sad reality, because we have the district transport authorities, the deputy commissioners, the SDOs, the civil SDOs are there. We have the municipal authorities now. We have elected them just recently. So this is something they should be keeping in check, because this is their duty. This is the reason they have been put into office. I remember during the time of Deputy Commissioner Moa Longkamar, who was heading the district administration during that time, whenever you meet to discuss auto fares or the prices of essential commodities in the market, please don't call the Dimapur district civil societies. Don't call the Naga women's associations or the HOHO. Don't call the public leadership, and don't call the transport authorities or the bazaar unions. Call leaders of the localities. They are the ones who know what is going on in the ground, because they are in touch with the pulse of the people. They know how much they can pay, how much they cannot. So whenever they decide on auto fares or prices of commodities in the market, it's the civil society organizations they call. I think I was with Eastern Mirror. So what we need is an expert panel, and empower them with some kind of a prosecution function, and let them check what is going on in the cities, in our towns, with the local transport communities, and set fares, and then set up metering systems so that no one will be able to manipulate the system. Do you know how to? Most of these autos, and I keep my car there because I cannot take it out on the streets, my eyesight. So most of the time I take an auto, and I asked them, how much do you earn in a month? You know what they told me? They earn at least not all of them, not all, but most of them, on a good day, they earn about 1,500 to 700. And you know how that adds up in a month? They're getting much more than the average young professional in Nagaland monthly, 30 to 40,000,
Right.
at least. So if you look at how much the car or the transport uses, how much fuel the transport uses to run for 1 kilometer, then I think we will be able to measure the profits they can earn from it. They are not like the mainland Indians where they're happy, earning 2-3 rupees per 100. In Nagaland, the Nagas, they want to earn 3,000-4,000 per 100 rupees. And that's the problem. That's the kind of profit they get. Not all of them, most of them. So that is why they manipulate the system, because there's no authority to check over them.
Right. And when we spoke about the urban governance where Nagaland was ranked the lowest, we even spoke about the regulations
Right.
of maybe fares or when it comes to vegetables and food items, and also I think fares also come in the same category. So would you stress more on that as well?
Yeah, I think while the urban governance index for Nagaland was measured on several indicators, which focus mainly on the administrative functions of the municipal authorities, their powers and their decision-making functions. So we cannot really connect it in the sense to public utilities and public services. But it is also true that their lack of a function or two, their lack of any decision-making apparatus that has not been given to them is the reason why we also have problems with auto rickshaw fares or taxi fares, because it means that there is no one to check over them. Because even if someone were put over them to keep a check on all this, they don't have decision-making functions. They cannot make bylaws. They cannot set up regulatory mechanisms. So in that sense, the urban governance index tells us that I think we should really go to the heart of this problem, and that is setting up a policy narrative where all the municipal authorities can be given functions to decide local issues.
Right.
And they should be given this, because the Home Minister, the Chief Minister of Nagaland doesn't care what you're doing here, what is happening in Dimapur. They don't care, they don't know. And even if they knew, they don't know what to do. It is only the local authorities who know what to do. So I think in the context of the Urban Governance Index, we should just go back to the Nagaland Municipal Act of 2023 and rework it in such a way that whatever contents there are in the Act should all be apparatuses that do not give the government control, but the local authorities the control to be able to make laws that fits the citizens of Dimapur or that fits the citizens of the respective districts across Nagaland, because the needs of Dimapur is different from the needs of Kohima or Wokha or Moshong. So I think we should go to the heart of the Nagaland Municipal Act 2023 here.
All right, we have a lot to discuss on this topic, but since the time is limited, I just want to ask the last question. How do we ensure that the rights of passengers are protected in the absence of regulated fares then?
We need a consumers forum. We need a consumers forum, Atu. I think the citizens should start, really taking their livelihood, their economic dynamics in question and start questioning and asking, where are our rights? Why am I paying this much? Why is that if I have a complaint, I don't know who to go to? Right. So we need a redress system that is set up by the district administration and the municipal authorities. We need a grievance cell, and we just don't need someone with a Tamil, we don't need a Tamil chewing official sitting there and just coming like once a week. No, we need a dedicated helpline, a panel that will address the problems of the community.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, El. I think that's about all for today. Thank you so much for all the inputs. Thank you. That was our associate editor and I speaking on the unregulated prices of fares of public transport in the state and about who is responsible and what should be done to regulate this. So that's all for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.